Remember a year and a half ago, Fukushima, and they told you there's no radiation, and it did later come out in mainstream news. They'd covered up the real level of radiation, including what's hitting the U.S., and their answer is more reactors. And again, I understand nuclear power could be a good source, but the companies won't run them safely. They won't store the waste safely. They won't go to new designs. They've got a bunch of 35, 40-year-old reactors that are rotting because the radiation eats through everything. They're rotting, the heat, the steam, the radiation, and they're going off. I mean, I saw a statistic, 91%. You can look this up. Just type in 90, actually the headline's 90. 90% of reactors are leaking. Of the 400 and something worldwide, it's right at 90, it's almost 91. If you round up, I think it's 90.7. Like, I don't think that's the number. 90.7 in a study done last year are leaking. 90.7. 90.7. 90.7 are leaking. Leaking, and it's like, oh, well, you know what? Out in San Diego, we have a leaking reactor. We're just not going to have the alarms go off anymore, they said a few months ago. When it leaks, the alarms scare everybody. There is a leak, a leak. Oh, we're just going to turn that off now. It's this attitude by the establishment, by everybody, just, oh, you know what? We had dozens of GMOs, and they're linked to all the sterilization, the rest of it. We're just going to come out with hundreds of crops now. Hundreds of crops, and it's, never mind. Never mind the bugs that eat it die. It's good for you. Never mind all the studies. Oh, you know what? Harvard does admit in their big study, fluoride is brain damaging you. So what? Hey, Fukushima caused mutant butterflies, French news agency. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, look what it did for Spider-Man. Again, my buddy Shane Steiner he was telling me the name of the movie. I forget the name of it. He was telling the story of, like, yeah, the guy goes and rolls in toxic waste. He thinks it'll make him Superman, and really he just gives leukemia in some comedy he was watching. But it's not funny when it's the real world. Genetic mutations have been found in 3 generations of butterflies from near Japan's crippled Fukushima nuclear plant, scientists said Tuesday, raising fears radiation could affect other species. But George Monbiot, who wants to reduce world population, is a Bilderberg minion. He says it's good. I mean, Ann Coulter said they ought to thank the Japanese government and TEPCO, even though a bunch of people have dropped dead. You have cardiac arrest, and their teeth are bleeding. There's radiation deaths all over Japan. You should thank them, because Ann Coulter said so. Around 12% of pale grass blue butterflies that are exposed to nuclear fallout as larvae immediately after the tsunami sparked disaster had abnormalities, including smaller wings and damaged eyes. Well, what's wrong with that? I mean, we're getting massive cancer increases and deformities and debilitations. The troops are. What, it's a 14-fold increase in deformities if you use DU in major studies. But hey, you know, troops, they're going to have you use DU. It ignites in the barrel. But you're tough. You're tough. Yeah, you're going to die of kidney failure and lung cancer early. And hey, your babies, you know, will have horrific deformities. But so what? It's not patriotic to complain. And butterflies shouldn't complain either. All the kids dropping dead in Japanese schoolyards from heart failure from the radiation. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.